Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Shinobaza, I'm your gaming and anime ninja, and I'm here again today for, I believe this would be episode 3 of Twitch Tips, which I want to kind of talk about something in particular, which is growing on Twitch. One of the reasons I wanted to bring this up in particular is just because I'm going through some growing pains and personally myself, or not growing pains, but just kind of going through the emotions of growing on Twitch. And just kind of recently in conversation what's come up with me and a lot of other streamers is the idea of there's been a lot of talk of it being impossible to grow on Twitch. It's personally, something I don't personally agree with, but I've seen a lot of different people come out saying this, that, or whatever, saying that Twitch is oversaturated, it's impossible to stand out, it's impossible to grow, and things like that. And I can understand their frustration to a certain extent, but if I'm completely honest, when looking at a lot of those people and comparing them from the people who do grow and the people who don't grow, the one common thread I seem to find in between both is this one very important word / phrase, which I will refer to or is called simply persistence. I think the biggest drawback to a lot of these people who are attempting to break out in Twitch or so on and so forth for grow, and why they're not seeing the growth that they want to be seeing, is that they're simply just not persistent with it. One of the major things I guess that brought up this conversation was a talk with a friend of mine, in which case she told me she wants to be an established writer. That's kind of her goal. She wants to eventually, she wants to leave Vegas, write books, become famous, not in her first book, not in her second book, but she said she's gonna keep writing books until she makes it. But she wants to make enough money to where she can leave Vegas and begin to do that. And that's kind of like her overarching goal. And I told her, first she's like, my first book probably won't be good enough, and my second book won't be, and then my third book, and then probably, but maybe by like my fourth book, I'll crack it. And at the end of like her speaking on her side of this conversation, I asked her, what if it takes you 30 books? And I asked her basically, if it did, would you still be doing it? Do you think you could last long enough for you to write 30 books? For you to get 30 rejected books, do you think you'd still be doing it? In which case she says she feels that she would be, because writing is what she loves. And she thinks that she'd still be able to continue pressing on forward, even if it was 30 books. And that, I think, and again, time will tell if that's true for her, but I think is the key for a lot of people that I'm seeing streaming recently. There's a lot of people I see who will have one bad day or 2 bad days, or even have a bad week, hell, even a bad month, and they'll want to quit streaming. They'll want to go back to what's easy, go back to what they know, maybe not necessarily what's easy, but what's more comfortable for them. They'll stream for 3 days straight and have, nobody show up, and so they won't show up on the 4th day. And I think, to me personally, my honest thought process is like, so what if you have 1 bad stream? So what if you had 2 bad streams? So what if you had a month of bad streams? What I think is most important for me is growth, or persistence for growth. Every once in a while you'll hear me talk about my push for partner, in which I did a special event or a challenge. I called it the 30 days of Shino, in which case I stated that I was going to be streaming every day for 30 days, 6 hours a day, rain, sleet, or slow, no days off, and I was going to stream every day for the next 30 days or until I got partner. It was a great experiment. It was a lot of work because I was making videos as well as streaming every single day, similar to what I'm doing now, while also having a full-time job working for Microsoft. So things were, my plate was full. The simplest way to put it is my plate was full. But during all of that, I didn't get partner in 30 days. And in fact, I didn't even get any traction for my 30 days of Shino or see any really significant growth for my 30 days of Shino, I would say in all honesty, until about day 35. That's when I started getting feedback from people who said they had only found my channel or they'd never been by a stream before, but they'd seen my videos in their newsfeed and decided to check me out since I was live. But it was about 35 days into it. continuing this 30-day challenge. To be completely honest, like I said, nobody else really cared about the 30 days of Shino until day 31. No one really asked what was going on with 30 days of Shino until about day 35. And I didn't get partnered from my 30 days of Shino until about day 142. So I think that was, yes, and for those of you wondering, yes, that was 142 days with not a single day off. I believe at one point in time I went to TwitchCon, and the only reason I didn't stream, or I did stream from TwitchCon, I did the IRL stream while I was at TwitchCon. The only day I didn't stream was when we weren't allowed to stream, in which case I uploaded a video talking about what we were doing. And then my birthday, I did a 26-hour stream. So technically for that day I didn't stream, but I did stream starting from one day at 11 p.m. going until about 1 a.m. the next day. So I did stream from one day into the next, through to the next day, starting into the next day. So I still technically streamed that day, just not for very long. Since I did an extremely long stream, a 26-hour stream for my 26-hour birthday. Not that I recommend that for anyone else, by the way. But I think the major difference for me personally in seeing all of that exponential growth that I had during that period of time was that I was persistent. I didn't stream one day, I didn't stream 4 days, I didn't stream 7 days, I didn't stream 30 days. Like I said, I continuously streamed for well over 100 days, but it wasn't until about day 35, well after it became a habit, that I could say I saw any real growth or like return on my commitment to persisting. And I think that is what I feel a lot of other Twitch streamers aren't focusing on, and it's what I feel like a lot of you should be focusing on. If you only, I'm not saying you have to stream every day, you know, for 30 days straight or anything like that, but if you're only streaming 5 days a week, commit to those 5 days a week. Not for 1 week, not for 2 weeks, not for 3 weeks, but for a full, a full summer. If you're on summer break, give it a full 3 months before you say you're not growing. And I mean 5 days a week showing up on time. Treat it like a job. I treated it like I was a part-time job. I showed up, I clock in at 11, I do my pre-stream at like 10:55, and I was live by 11:10 every night. Even if my internet went out, I just did IRL streams where I walked around my neighborhood or I made grilled cheese sandwiches. Ask about that one. I also ate a raw cookie dough Reese's Pieces cookie. We did a lot of weird things in that stream, but it was fun. But I digress. One of the major things that was important there is I consistently streamed, but I also persistently streamed. When my internet went out, I still found a way to go live. When I was traveling, I still found a way to go live. When I was hungry, I still found a way to go live. No matter what happened, instead of coming up with why I shouldn't stream or why my stream doesn't feel like it's worth it, I focused on coming up with reasons of why I should be there, how I should be there. And I promised myself, if I can just get through this, I just promised myself there'd be something to show for it. And admittedly, like I said, there wasn't something to show for it on day 29. There wasn't anything to show for it on day 30. But at day 35, I had like my first big event where someone came by and said they came by and hosted me simply because they had been watching all of my videos. And by day, 40 and 42 and 43 and 45 and 46 and then day 60, and I had people going, it's like, so we're 2 months into the 30 days of Shino. What's like, when does this end? And I made it very clear this doesn't end until I get partnered. And I probably should have kept going after I got partnered, but I think it was good for me to take the time to reevaluate. But the lesson here is that it wasn't just that I was consistent over those 60 days, because there was TwitchCon, there was power outages, there were days that I just didn't feel like playing my main game. But the key was that I was persistent during those 60 days. I wouldn't take no from an answer. Not from my job, not from my internet company, not from my computer, and most definitely not from myself. I wouldn't take no, I'm not going to stream today as an answer. So if I had any tip today, if you're struggling with growth, anything like that, I think the biggest difference in those things is time. And I think if you really want to see something change, then instead of just focusing on being new and being bright and being entertaining and being energetic, I think your main focus should just be on being persistent. Through the highs and the lows, through the good days and bad days, make sure that you're still there. And whatever you got to tell yourself to turn that camera on and hit that stream button, do it. Because I think, in my opinion, something that just isn't talked about enough is how persistent you are. And I know life gets in the way, but I think the truly greats persist through life getting in the way. Whether it makes them seem cold-blooded or callous or like too, obsessed, whatever it may be, they're persistent almost to a fault to making sure they show up to what matters most to them. And that's what I'd hope you guys would focus on today and pass on to yourself. But hey, that's just what I wanted to talk about today. If you guys enjoyed this, if you look up in, I want to say the top right side, top right. This is top right, yes? Top right side. If you look at the top right side, you can see how to spell my name. You can come hang out on Twitch. I'll be playing World of Warcraft tonight after this goes up. And if nothing else, you can click on all these down here, all my social medias right here. Enjoy them. Follow me, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, obviously, because you're watching this on YouTube. But if you aren't watching this on YouTube and you're on Twitch or Facebook, my YouTube's down there too, so click that. But either way, I want to thank you guys for watching. Until next time, my name is Shinobazu. I'm your gaming and ninja, and I'll catch you guys later, all right? Love you. Deuces.